All right. What's going on, guys? And welcome back to 3D Arcade for week 6 of the BBR. We're 2-3 now. Let's go. We got 2 wins under our belt. We had a 5-0 last week. Shout out to QSN. Great battle. Great battle indeed. This week we're taking on Davion and the Vegas Golden D-Nites. So it's the P-Knights versus the D-Nites, as the team builder said it. I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know I am dubbing this video because unfortunately my mic got unplugged and there was no audio over the original battle. So the battle footage will be included, but it's going to be sped up. We're going to be going pretty quick, going over what happens. If you guys missed the team builder, by the way, check it out yesterday. It's a really good team going up against a really good team. Davion is 4-1, so it's going to be a really tough battle, but we're looking to go even. 3-3 is the goal. Obviously, I know what happens, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I have written myself down a little script of the battle, and I'm going to edit it in post so that it moves at a, it'll have some cuts, some speed up to move in a way that you see pretty much all of the battle, but you hear my thoughts, what I was thinking as I went through. And Davion and I talked extensively after the battle, and so I kind of know what he was thinking a lot of the time as well. He made some plays, I made some plays. He definitely... It came down to watching it back to make the script. There's some plays I could have made that were better. I'll kind of mention those as well as we go through. Just some silly risks, but ultimately it was a really good battle. It's a really cool outcome, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So jumping in, we'll go over the team builder real quick. I'll cut to that. Team preview wise, the team is pretty much what I expect. Unfortunately, we do see Golbat. We do not have a great answer for Galarian Stunfisk, which we do see. Avalugg comes for sure. Linoon comes. That's what we didn't want to see. We have a lot of answers for it, but we didn't want to see it because it's so good. And then Corviknight and Latios. So we have Latios, Corviknight, Golbat, Linoon, Galarian Stunfisk, and Avalugg. That means we have a spinner. We have a Stealth Rock setter. We have priority. We have bulky flying poison, which is crazy. Bulky steel flying. 2 flying types. But they both... Does Corviknight resist electric? I truly can't remember if steel resists electric. But man, there's a lot of good Pokemon here. So ultimately, right before the battle, I was talking to Tim, Syndaxatrix, in the front office. We decided to lead Xatu no matter what. I had no idea what to lead. I was really nervous about this battle. I really wanted a third win, and I was really nervous, so I trusted Tim. We go Xatu, and he leads Latios. So we see Latios come in, we see Xatu come in, and in my mind, I don't know why, I was not thinking about Specs Latios, so I stay in looking to just get a cool... whatever I was doing. I actually don't remember. Let me scroll and see what move I was trying to click. Backing up. Okay, oh no! We're gonna check it out right now, guys. I just accidentally clicked away from it. I went for Thunder Wave, yeah. Went for a nice cool Thunder Wave on the Latios because the Latios' speed was one of the biggest problems that we had on this team. Not expecting Specs, and he drops a Draco on me because we did not bring a fairy for some reason this week against a Latios. I don't know what we were thinking. He was really worried about the fairies too. I've watched his team builder since then. Should have brought a fairy. He drops a Draco on me. We go down. It's Specs Latios. I did the damage. It might have been Life Orb. Could have been Life Orb, but it was Specs. I know that now. So boom, we're 5-0. Not 5-0. We're 5-6. It's a 5v6 battle right from the very start. Yeah, he's -2 special attack, but he's taking no damage. We lost one of our Wishers. We lost our Defogger. Psychic was just nice coverage. We lost some speed control with Thunder Wave. We also lost Magic Bounce. Man, you know, it was a bad turn 1. It was a really bad turn 1. Moving on. Let me go ahead and pull this up so I can look a little more at you guys. We bring in Lando. Lando's coming in, and he might not, you know, he doesn't know if it's Scarf, he doesn't know if it's Lefties, he doesn't know if it's Life Orb or anything like that. But I know, I've got Knockoff and U-Turn. Knockoff's doing a lot of damage. U-Turn was doing like up to 70-something, especially with him being Specs. He probably didn't have a lot of defense in my mind. So we come in, and I'm predicting a switch on this thing. So I'd opt to go U-Turn over Knockoff at this point, knowing that if he stays in, we're going to do 3/4 to it. It's -2 special attack. Awesome. You know, even if it comes back in later, pretty much anything has a move that can kill 25% on the Latios at this point. So, good move, and then we get some offensive momentum. He does switch, so Lando ends up doing a U-turn into Avalugg. Makes perfect sense that he'd bring the Avalugg in on us. So, we U-turn on that. We do a little bit of chip, and he's, at that point, still a little healthy for Virizion to be taking him on. And I think we're neutral to ice with Virizion. because fighting in grass, I'm bad at types, and I didn't review types before this battle, but I didn't want to bring Virizion in on it. So we decided to go Glaceon. Glaceon can eat ice hits. It's one of our few ice resists. And it might be our only ice resist. I'm not totally positive on that. I think it's Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry is doing half. It's at about 80. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Avalanche, I think, can do a max of 2/3. We get a Wish Off, whatever. It's good. It's good stuff. So we bring that in, and ultimately at that point I'm thinking, you know, he probably doesn't stay in on this, so I'm going to get a Reflect up, because we brought a couple of Reflectors. We brought Jolteon, surprise Specs Reflect, because, you know, physical monsters here. Obviously I know the Latios at this point is not physical, but we still have Corviknight, we have Golbat, we have Linoon. Like, the Linoon with extreme speed, in my mind, was the biggest threat, because he just came in and just mollywopped the team. He mollywopped it without there being a Reflect up. So we got the Reflect up there for a couple of turns, and he decides to switch into Corviknight. So at this point I'm like, Steel type on an Ice type? Heck no. So Jolt is my answer. I go into Jolt, and then I expect him to switch. We do eat a little bit of a... what do we eat there? I don't actually remember what he hits us with. I think he gets us with a little bit of Chip, but we have the Reflect up. Does he hit us? No, he actually doesn't hit us. He just hard swaps over, and I was expecting a switch, because why would you stay in on it? Specs Jolteon killed that thing, most likely. So I went for the Shadow Ball, kind of hoping Latios would come back in on it. It didn't. So we got a little bit of chip off on the Stunfisk. I knew the Stunfisk was going to be a problem at this point. It ate that so well. So we bring in Lando. Lando's coming in because Lando can EQ it for about half, which is awesome stuff, making sure I'm following along with my notes here. So Jolt comes in here, we Shadow Ball, and we have to hard swap because Shadow Ball is not going to do enough. And we end up, and we didn't want to take an Earth Power, so we swap to Lando, and at this point he gets up his Rocks. Now we don't have Defog anymore, so Rocks being up is really, really bad for us, and that does, it adds to the chip as we move through this battle, and I have to make some decisions where I'm a little more afraid of switching than I normally am here. So big deal. So we're expecting Avalugg to come in because we have Lando in. So I U-turn again, get a little extra chip, and we go into Skuntank because Skuntank has Fire Blast. Awesome. Fire Blast kills at the range that it's at. So we go in, and I wasn't sure if he'd stay in or not, but Fire Blast did good chip to anything, assuming it hit. So I go for the Fire Blast. Didn't want to Sucker Punch. Wasn't really feeling toxic at that point because Corviknight could have come in. So we go for the we go for the Fire Blast, and Latios comes back. So we chip it. Awesome. Latios is guaranteed in Sucker Punch range at this point. And, you know, he saw the Fire Blast. Dark Pulse, I think he still could have lived. So maybe he's not expecting the Sucker Punch. Maybe he just wants it to go down. I'm not really sure what he was thinking at this point. But we Sucker Punch, we get Latios down. So now it's 5-5. Pretty cool. We got Rocks. We're stuck with Rocks, but it's 5-5. We're in the game. I believe it's 5-5 anyway. Let me confirm. Yeah, it's 5-5 at this point. Going back in my things. Okay, so at that point, he swaps to Latios, he dies, he brings in Golbat. So this is the first we've seen a Golbat. We don't know what kind of set it has, and I gotta tell you, I was not thinking about Super Fang, but there was a Super Fang, so that's always bad. But we swapped to Jolteon, because Jolteon's our best way of dealing with this thing. Rocks does okay on some of our Mons, but boy, does that Flying type tear through Virizion. So we go Jolt, and we take an unfortunate Super Fang, and we do lose a lot of health. He ends up bringing Stunfisk back in on that, where I make one of our first sloppy plays, thinking, I'm nervous about this Golbat. I want to kill this Golbat. I don't know what it has. I'm pretty sure we're in Hurricane range after the Super Fang as well. So I Thunderbolt it, or a Volt Switch, I don't remember which, but I used an Electric type move. Of course. Why would I not do that? So he goes to Stunfisk, he eats it up, and we end up having to switch out again. So we've taken Rocks, we've taken Super Fang, and there's basically nothing come out of it. Very unfortunate. But I go back into Lando at this point. So, nope, sorry, I bring in Virizion on this Stunfisk. Hard swap to Virizion, which we take a Toxic. Not great, but we do have Heal Bell on Glaceon still, so we have ways to get rid of it. Corviknight comes in, and then we need to heal. So, I'm thinking we need to swap. We need to figure out how to get Glaceon in, but we can't swap Glaceon in to a Corviknight. So we end up going to Lando, and we basically sacked to get the clean switch, hoping he'd, you know, I wasn't sure what he would do. He might think we have Stone Edge on it, which we don't, by the way. This week we have Brick Break, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Stealth Rock. So that's always fun. But we end up going into that. We get our rocks up, and we actually end up living, and we do get a knockoff off, and we get the metal coat off of that thing, which is good. We lower its steel type moves, lower its offensive pressure a little bit. I do know it's bulk up now, so definitely good to get that off. At this point, we bring in Jolt again, take a little bit more rocks, but Jolt forces the Corviknight out. Whew! And then we can bring in Glaceon for the heal. So we bring in Glaceon, and Glaceon ends up taking an Earth Power and Rocks, which is not great for us, but we do get the Heal Bell off to get rid of the Toxic. I think we might have been Toxic on the Glaceon too. Yeah, Glaceon gets Toxic, and then we get Earth Powered. Very unfortunate, of course. But you know what? We're here, we get the Heal Bell off, and we end up living, so we get off a Wish before we go down. We sack to a Wish. So I know at this point you're thinking, it's 3v5. What are you doing, Jordan? How are you going to do this? How are you going to bring it back, my dude? So we bring in Veriz to take this, because I realize at this point, without Latios, Virizion has a good chance, a potential chance to one-shot or a definite two-shot every single one of these Pokemon if we can play around it. And without the Toxic, bringing in the Wish, if we survive one turn, hopefully maybe he even swaps, right? But if we survive a turn, then boom, we are back at full, which is awesome. We didn't even have to use a Synthesis turn for it. So we bring in Veriz, and Veriz ends up looking to do major work. So Corviknight's chipped down, which is why it can die. We can Stone Edge it and do a good bit. We can Close Combat it and do a good bit. Plus rocks are up at this point, so we're getting a little bit of chip every time we switch for him. And I wanted to kind of park something because Jolteon's not living another hit after rocks. And who else was left? Skuntank is not doing super great either. So I think it's damaged to some degree at this point. So basically, we come in here and we have... so we have Sunfisk in. We have our Virizion in. Of course, we can Leaf Blade it. Awesome, sure, maybe. But I expect him to switch. I was kind of expecting Corviknight coming in on the grass move, and I ended up predicting wrong, so I went Close Combat. Unfortunate prediction, but seems fair in hindsight. But he brings in the Golbat, and the Golbat ends up coming in, taking rocks and taking Close Combat, and it goes down to half. That is Stone Edge range on this thing. So now we're cooking with gas because we know we're faster than it. Or I had a good... If I wasn't faster than this, I didn't have a different way to deal with it because unless I was getting Jolteon in clean, so it was time to Stone Edge. So we Stone Edge, and we get the hit, and we end up, after being healed to full, by the way, we've lived to the turn, so now we're at full. We take the Stone Edge, and we are able to KO it, so here we are. We've got Corviknight, Linoon, Galarian Stunfisk, and Avalugg left. We're -1 in defense, but we're at full health minus the 10% that we took for our Life Orb there. So, actually, no, we took Life Orb and then we got healed. So, we're at full at this point. So, Stone Edge kills Golbat, and then Corviknight comes in. So, Corviknight takes rocks, and at that point, I'm thinking, Close Combat's doing some pretty good damage. Let's Close Combat it. I think that might have done a little bit more than Stone Edge at this point, since Stone Edge was neutral. I mean, everything was neutral, but obviously Close Combat is... Close Combat doesn't have a chance to miss, plus it's Stab. So that's my thought process. So we Close Combat, and he ends up doubling out of the Corviknight into Avalugg. But Avalugg takes rocks and then dies to Close Combat. Awesome. So now we're down to Corviknight, Linoon, Galarian Stunfisk. Cool. We're -2 defense, -2 special defense. And let me tell you, even though I'm keeping up with this now, spoiler alert, there's a point where I'm going to talk about it. I forget about this. I was not keeping up with it in my calcs. So the Corviknight comes back in. The Corviknight is in range of Close Combat and dies. So we take the Close Combat because it takes another layer of rocks. So we kill it with the Close Combat. We're -3, and the Linoon comes in. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, Jolt's not in great shape, and you know, our boy Skuntank's not at full health, but we got 3 Mons against 2 Mons. One of them's just a stall Mon. How are we going to deal with this, right? How are we going to do it? Obviously, I wanted Veriz for Stunfisk. That would be great. Jolteon's not doing hardly anything to it. At this point, I have forgotten about our defense drops. We have Linoon come in, and I calc at our current health, I believe we were at like, I believe we had like 2% extra to live on Linoon. We were going to live in extreme speed. Awesome. Going to be amazing. Going to be sick. I think that was if we switched out and came back in with rocks, we would live in extreme speed. But if he bulked up, or not bulked up, if he belly drummed, we're dead. Because he's got extreme speed, he's +6 on that switch. So we're dead. It doesn't matter. And at the same time, I've forgotten about our defense drops. So I was like, we live the extreme speed now, even though we take the extreme speed and then we take Life Orb to kill it with a close combat. Linoon's gone. Then we have Jolt and we have Skuntank to deal with Stunt and Fisk. Surely we can pull this off, right? Surely we can pull it off. So I stay in and I click close combat against this Linoon, and he extreme speeds me and knocks me out because I'm -3 defense, -3 special defense. And I was so sad. I was so sad because at this point it's 2-2. I don't have anything that's going to outspeed this thing. Jolt's going down in 1 hit, so I throw Jolt out. Jolt goes down. Honestly, I thought Stunfisk would die too, or not Stunfisk. Skuntank would die too, or I would have sent Skuntank out first. Maybe it would have a chance. And it ends up having a chance in the end, but not enough of a chance. So Jolt goes down, and then Skuntank comes in, and we get a sucker punch off, but we die. Very unfortunate. We chip it a couple times. We end up losing this one 2-0 to Davion, but it was a great fight. There's a couple of places, like I said, where bringing the Jolt in, obviously having the Xatu at the very beginning, having Defog, getting rid of rocks on our side, could have made it way easier on us, playing around that. Maybe my Lando sack and my Glaceon sack could have been saved. Not 100% sure that those would have made the difference, but the couple of times that I clicked an electric move on a ground switch in, bad time. A couple of places we predicted wrong, and then it came down to this 50-50 choice. And I truthfully, if I had remembered the defense drops, probably would have switched. I like to think that, but hindsight's 2020. Who knows if I would have switched or if I would have stayed in. Davion and I talked about it. He had the same thought process, but he decided he could not risk the belly drum. Because his win con was not belly drumming and hoping I didn't switch. So that makes sense. Makes perfect sense because, you know, he just outplayed me. He did a really good job. It was amazing. And I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. It was a 25-minute battle and it's a 17-minute recording. So a little bit of a chop there. Make sure you guys check out Davion. His link's in the description. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. We'll have a normal battle back next week. I'll try my best to keep the mic plugged in. And we're 2-4 going into the second half of the season. Hopefully we can bring it back. And I'll see you guys next week for week 7 against, who did we play? Who did we play? Oh, Matt O'Shea. We're playing Matt O'Shea in the Montreal Milotic, the reigning champ of the BBR. So I'll see you then. You guys have a good week. Hope your New Year was good. Hope your Christmas was good. Peace, everybody.